Then let's talk about description, especially mathematical description of diffusion and the application or occurrence of diffusion and some features of diffusion. First, about description or mathematical description of diffusion. There are generally two ways to describe diffusion. The first is based on so-called phenomenological, or people sometimes also call microscopic approach, which is based on phenomena that people can observe traditionally on long length scale. We're talking about the millimeter scale, microns or millimeter length scale. For this, people observed long time ago fixed first law and second law. People can also mathematically derive the equations that give us so-called fixed first law and second law based on microscopic, based on phenomena, based on what you observed in large-scale experiment spanning length scale of microns or at millimeters. Okay? In comparison, there's another way to describe this diffusion at atomistic approach by fundamental physical modeling. These are specifically based on thermal random walk model. We said diffusion is mass transport by random motion. So for this model, you are assuming the atoms move in a random walk fashion. Each atom would move randomly along all possible directions, and then you collectively model them to describe them. Thermal random means it's thermally activated, means at higher temperature the diffusion phenomena becomes faster, or the atoms moves more uh, quickly, has a greater probability to move. The diffusion phenomena happens faster. These two are different basic approaches or mathematical descriptions that people can use for diffusion phenomena. Okay? As to application or occurrence of diffusion phenomena, there are many, and here we just give some examples. The first one would be oxidation of metals, or sometimes we also call them corrosion of metals. We know that metals such as steel, if you expose them in air with especially moisture, the material, the steel can get rusty, can get oxidized. What it fundamentally happens is the metal combine with oxygen in the atmosphere and become metal oxide. But in order for this thing to continue to occur, there quite often are diffusion phenomena involved. The metal atoms, quite often, once the first bit of metal oxide formed, the metal atoms has to continue to migrate through the oxide layer in order for the oxidation to sustain, for the corrosion reaction to sustain. At the same time, the oxygen atoms, if it's oxidizing in air, or sulfur atoms, if it involves sulfur containing atmosphere, will diffuse through this oxide or sulfide layer into the metal and form the oxide or sulfide, and the reaction, the oxidation or sulfidation reaction continue. All these involve diffusion. The random walk of atoms um, to achieve mass transport. Okay. A second example would be for silicon solar cells. We know silicon solar cell is based on silicon wafer, but from your physics, you probably learn a solar cell needs a p-n junction. A p-n junction, there will be regions, quite often the wafer would be so-called a p-type silicon semiconductor, while the emitter would quite often be a n-type semiconductor of silicon. And in order to form this n-type silicon semiconductor, you have to rely on diffusion phenomena. to drive the phosphorus into the silicon to form the emitter, and so that we can have silicon solar cell, we can harvest the energy, and the diffusion phenomena is as a fundamental for this. Okay. A third example involves thin film solar cells. We have silicon traditional solar cells that are brittle, but there are also so-called thin film solar cells that are flexible. People can roll it up for using for camping, for purpose, for outdoor use. And for those, people quite often rely on materials such as copper, indium, gallium, selenide, or so-called CIGS. In order to form such complex material, people have to rely on diffusion. And in order to control the material property, people have to understand the diffusion phenomena in these types of materials so that we can minimize the amount of impurity material in them, so that the material still have the proper p-n junction. Okay. A fourth example involves power generation, but through a device people call solid oxide fuel cell, or SOFC. Essentially, it's a ceramic-based device that use chemical field to generate electricity in a highly efficient fashion. And for them to operate, people have to overcome the degradation issue, and the degradation actually involves many complex chemical reaction that relies on the diffusion phenomenon. And if we want to slow down the degradation, we have to understand the diffusion and somehow slow down the diffusion, prevent the diffusion. Okay? Or at least make it less as fast. A fifth example is about sintering of ceramics. We all dealt with ceramics, which are inorganic material that are not metal, and quite often for processing of ceramics, like for example your porcelain cup, people start with powders, but in order to get a useful bulk ceramic material, people have to go through so-called sintering process to bond the ceramic powder and to eliminate the pores, and all these rely on the diffusion, the mass transport at atomic scale through random motion of atoms or other species. And the diffusion is very important here. Okay? And of course, there are other applications, and you can think about them. For example, lithium-ion battery. To charge, discharge, the lithium ion has to diffuse through the different materials, okay, within the battery. Okay, and quite often in those cases, the faster the diffusion means you can charge and discharge your batteries faster. Okay, these are examples, are only examples of for application or occurrence of the diffusion phenomena, and actually it's happening everywhere. That's why we are going to spend a significant amount of time of this class on diffusion, understand the diffusion phenomena. Okay, and finally, I want to quickly talk about characteristics or features of diffusion. Okay, first, generally speaking, diffusion is a slow process. Okay, how slow? We are going to talk about that in future, but generally compared with chemical reactions, gas phase reactions, diffusion relatively is a slow process, especially if we are dealing with solid materials, which is the focus for this class. Okay, and the diffusion would be, read to yourself, thermally activated. Thermal means heat. Activated means getting faster. Thermally activated just means diffusion phenomena generally gets faster when the temperature would be higher. That's what people mean by thermally activated. And we will talk in depth about this feature later. And the third feature is, as we mentioned before, diffusion at atomic level, molecule level, they are random. The individual diffusion species, be they atoms or ions or molecules, they move in a random fashion at a microscopic scale. By microscopic, I mean angstroms or within nanometer scale. It's random. But then globally, microscopically, micron scale or even millimeter scale, it has direction. And we will talk about that as well later in this class. Okay?